Keep it up. Jesse, let's get to our topic because I know people do want to chat with us, but this is a topic you picked out. Tell us 7 reasons why Equality Act is anything but that.
This is why it's going to be. This is the danger of having a Biden-Harris administration, because this is precisely where the radical left is going, Terry. It's called the Equality Act, and they're just waiting to take the levers of power in this country, and this is the way they will start persecuting the church, because now if this passes, the Bible is going to be called a hate book. Our preaching of objective truth is going to be called hate literature.
Yeah.
And the Equality Act is anything but equality.
Right.
And Nancy Pelosi's behind this, the House Speaker, Joe Biden. The Equality Act, Terry, is going to destroy faith and family and marriage.
Yeah.
Because it's a direct attack on the family, and this is exactly what people seem to forget, that Cardinal Caffarra, who was commissioned by St. John Paul II to establish the Pontifical Institute for Studies on Marriage and Family, he was an Italian cardinal, rest in peace, one of the four Dubia cardinals.
Yep.
He received a letter from Sister Lucia, and in the letter it says this, quote, "The final battle between the Lord and the kingdom of Satan will be about marriage and the family." Now, the secular progressive left, they've already attacked marriage. Where? Roe versus Wade, Obergefell versus Hodges, the homosexual Supreme Court decision, which opened the floodgate to sodomy in this country. Now, the second attack on marriage is going to be on the children, the family, by this Equality Act. And so here's what the article says. Most Americans don't want a nationwide bathroom requirement, healthcare mandate, or preferred pronoun law based on gender identity. But congressional Democrats seem to think it's time to impose them.
Oh, no.
So how might a sexual orientation and gender identity law on the federal level, as introduced in the House and Senate, affect you and your community? Well, here are 7 ways. And again, if the Democrats take over the House and the Senate, this is going to come to a town near us. The first one it would do is it'll penalize Americans who don't affirm new sexual norms or gender ideology. Just remember Jack Phillips. His case went all the way to the Supreme Court. He's a Colorado citizen because he was accused of being a baker. He's a baker owner, and he was accused of discriminating based on sexual orientation because he didn't want to make a cake and celebrate a same-sex wedding by putting 2 men on top of the cake. He got sued. His case got sent all the way to the Supreme Court, and eventually the Supreme Court ruled in Phillips's favor. But again, Terry, this is going to reboot if Biden and Harris get in, because Phillips, he lost a lot of his income just as a result of defending himself.
Of course.
Just like a lot of other people, florists, bakers, photographers, videographers, because they believe that marriage is between a man and a woman. They've been sued in court, and this is the first thing they're going to bring back again under a Harris-Biden organization.
When we come back, we'll hit number 2 regarding the 7 reasons why Equality Act is anything but. You're listening to the Terry and Jesse Show on Virgin Most Powerful Radio. We'll be right back.
It's called the Equality Act. This is what's in store for us under a Biden-Harris administration. Terry, there's 7 points.
Yeah, we're on number 2 right now.
What's the second one?
Yeah, it would compel speech. In other words, the Virginia high school teacher, Peter Fleming, he lost his job for something he did not say. A county school board voted unanimously to fire the veteran teacher over the objections of his students after he refused to comply with administrators ordering him to use the masculine pronouns in referring to a female student who identifies as a transgender. Are you kidding me? Fleming did his best to accommodate the student without violating his religious belief that God, like us, created human beings, male and female, end of story, using the student's new name and simply refraining from using pronouns altogether. Now, unfortunately, the school still considered this a violation of his anti-discrimination policy. Are you kidding me? Incidents like this, Jess, will increase under the federal policy proposed in the Equality Act Both federal and private employees could face costly lawsuits if they failed to comply strict preferred pronoun policies. Employees could be disciplined if they fail to comply regardless of their scientific or moral objections. Yeah. This is where we're going, Jess.
Yeah, that would be under a Biden administration if the Democrats take over the House and the Senate. This is is right around the corner.
Yep.
Number 3, this law that the
got us
Biden,
down.
Yeah, that they want to pass is called the Equality Act.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, here's the third reason why it's dangerous. It could shut down charities. Think about foster care and adoption agencies or drug rehab centers and homeless centers. Mm-hmm. They're already facing challenges under state and local policies on sexual orientation and gender identity. But in Philadelphia, just days after the city put out an urgent call for 300 additional families to foster children, the city halted child placements by Catholic Social Services because of the organization's belief that every child deserves both a mother and a father. And although the same-sex couples have the opportunity to foster children through the state or other agency in Philadelphia, the city canceled its contract with Catholic Social Services, and the agency's approved foster homes remain available while children languish on this waiting list. And so a federal sexual orientation and gender identity law, which would be pushed under a Biden administration in Harris, would make this situation that we see in Philadelphia a national phenomenon, which would spell disaster for almost 500,000 children in foster care nationwide. Other charities will be affected as well. Over in Anchorage, Alaska, a biological male born Timothy Paul Coyle goes by the name of Samantha Coyle, and on 2 occasions, Coyle tried to gain access to the city's downtown Soup Kitchen Hope Center, which is a shelter for homeless, abused, and trafficked women. And so in one attempt, authorities said that Coyle was inebriated and got into a fight with a staffer at another shelter, so Hope Center staff paid Coyle's fare to the emergency room to receive medical attention. Coyle sued the center for gender identity discrimination. And so a federal sexual orientation and gender identity law could force any social service organization to open up private facilities, including single-sex bathrooms, showers, and sleeping areas to members of the opposite sex. Terry, this is where we're going. This is Paul Harvey all over again.
It is.
This is the mass confusion that's upon the diabolical disorientation, a term used by Sister Lucia. Terry, go ahead.
Can you imagine, we're going to go to number 4, but can you imagine, Jesse, someone who had been in a coma for 40 years and wakes up to this? They go, what? It can't be. Well, it is. Number 4, it would allow more biological males to defeat girls in sports. It's so ridiculous, Jesse. 2 biological males who identify and compete as women easily defeat all their female competitors in an event of the Connecticut State Track Championships. See, this is wrong. Transgender athletes, Terry Miller, broke the state's record in the girls' 100-meter dash. Andrea Yearwood, also transgender, took second place. What do you think, Jesse? Come on. I mean, It doesn't take common sense to know this is ridiculous. Now, Selena Soule, a female runner, not only lost to her biological males in the championship, but also lost out on a valuable opportunity to be seen by college coaches and chosen for scholarships. Soule said about the 100-meter event, we all know the outcome of the race before it even started. It's demoralizing. Now, a federal sexual orientation and gender identity law would defeat the purpose of the Title X of the Civil Rights Act, which it's supposed to guarantee women equal educational and athletic opportunities. Yes, under this radical gender identity policies, here comes, female athletes have sustained gruesome injuries at the hands of male competitors. In high school wrestling, female athletes have forfeited rather than to compete against transgender athletes on testosterone. Oh my! A federal law could set girls and women's sports back permanently at every level. This is serious matter. And you know what, Jess? It doesn't take a brain surgeon to figure out what we're doing is totally wrong. Okay, there's a right way to doing things and a wrong way. You don't put a woman in competition in sports with a man. That's just don't do that. Go ahead.
This is a violation of the Title IX of the Civil Rights Act. This is a misuse of it.
Of course it is.
This is a false implementation of Title IX of the Civil Rights Act.
Right.
And women are getting hurt.
Yeah, it's terrible.
And I say to myself, where's the feminist women's groups like the National Organization for Women?
Quiet.
Or where's the Me Too movement?
Silent.
Or even where's the ACLU or the
Silent.
California Poverty Law Center? Or where are the women on The View?
Yeah.
They're nowhere to be seen or heard. And this is the ultimate form of discrimination against women.
That's right.
Point number 5, this law that the Equality Act, if Biden gets into office and Harris, trust me, this is exactly what's going to happen.
Oh, yeah.
It's not if, it's going to happen.
When, if they get it. Yep.
It could be used to coerce medical professionals. Under state sexual orientation and gender identity laws, persons who identify as transgender have sued Catholic hospitals in California and New Jersey for declining to perform hysterectomies on otherwise healthy women who wanted to pursue gender transition. And so if these lawsuits succeed, medical professionals would be pressured to treat patients according to the ideology rather than their best medical judgment. And let's not forget that the Obama administration tried to coerce medical professionals into offering transition-affirming therapies through a regulation in the Affordable Care Act, popularly known as Obamacare.
Yep.
And that move, thanks be to God, it was stopped in the 11th hour by a federal judge. However, that could all be set back in motion if a national law imposes a nationwide health care mandate regarding gender identity.
I just want to remind everybody, at the beginning of the show, we quoted Fulton Sheen when he said, freedom does not mean that right to do whatever we please, like this in this case, but rather what we ought to do. The right to do whatever we please reduces freedom to a physical power and forgets that freedom is a moral power. What we're missing here, Jesse, is any clarity regarding morality. Go ahead and hit number 6, Jess. We got 3 minutes left.
Yes, number 6, it could lead to more parents losing custody of their children because the politicization of medicine, according to gender ideology, will create more conflicts amongst parents, doctors, and the government. A federal sexual orientation and gender identity law could jeopardize parental rights nationwide. In fact, the current issue of the American Journal of Bioethics includes an article arguing that the state should overrule the parents of transgender children who do not give consent to give them puberty-blocking drugs. And the final one, point number 7, it could also enable sexual assault. A complaint under investigation by the federal education officials alleges that a boy who identifies as a gender fluid at Oakhurst Elementary School in Decatur, Georgia, sexually assaulted Pasca Thomas' 5-year-old daughter in a girls' restroom. The boy had access to the girls' restroom because of Decatur City Schools' transgender restroom policies.
Horrible.
And so the school authorities refused to change the policy even after Thomas reported the assault. So eventually she decided to remove her daughter from the school for the girl's emotional well-being and physical safety. And a federal sexual orientation and gender identity law would give male sexual predators who self-identify as females access to private facilities, increasing the likelihood of these tragic incidents. The bottom line is the Equality Act, which will be law under executive order by a Biden-Harris administration, this defies the purpose of any anti-discrimination laws, because the Equality Act will be used, it's going to be weaponized, Terry. It's going to be used as a sword to attack people of faith and force them to adopt new ideologies about human sexuality. And so this extreme and dangerous piece of legislation, which hangs in the balance on the Biden administration, it would create unprecedented harm to businesses, charities, medical professionals, women and children, and entire families. And I'm telling you, the writing's on the wall.
It is.
The Equality Act is anything but equal.
Jesse, I'm glad you brought this up. And I just want to remind everybody in the last minute or two that we need to get our own spiritual life in order to fight things like this, because we need grace from God to stand up and say what needs to be said. We can't do that without being in the state of grace. And that's just my humble opinion, Jess. We can't fight evil if we're obviously in mortal sin. So what do? We live according to what Jesus Christ taught and his church has taught about living in the state of grace, getting to confession, getting our rosary out, praying our rosary, reading the Bible every day, visiting Jesus in the Blessed Sacrament, having a spiritual life, because you can't fight this battle without having an intense spiritual life, because it just won't work. This is an evil that we're up against, and we need to be asking God for the graces to do the right thing and stand up for God's laws, not man's, because we serve Jesus Christ,
right,
not man. Jesse, 5 things. Give them right now. 5 things that people need to do to be able to fight evil.
Pray your rosary every day from your heart. Go to Mass as often as possible. Read your Bible every day, specifically the daily Mass readings. Practice penance and fasting on Fridays, at least, if not Wednesdays and Fridays. Old school, pre-Vatican II. And lastly, stay in a state of grace. Don't stay in a state of mortal sin. If you're in mortal sin, go to confession as soon as possible. And if you want to stay in a state of grace, monthly confession is a great tune-up for the soul.
And this is a great time, this time of Advent, when we're preparing to meet Jesus Christ in this nativity scene of Christmas. How better way to be getting close to Jesus in the Blessed Sacrament and through the Sacrament of Penance. I want to thank everybody who's been supporting us here at Virgin Most Powerful Radio. We thank you. We pray for you every day here at our Sacred Heart Chapel. And may God richly bless you, and full sheen ahead at Virgin Most Powerful.
This is Jesse Romero, Catholic Lay Evangelist, and I want to thank you for watching this video on Virgin Most Powerful Radio. Make sure you leave a like and a comment on the video. Also, don't forget to subscribe. Find out how to receive exclusive content in the description below, and always remember to take the information you gathered from this video and evangelize everyone you know. Thank you, and full sheen ahead.